Hi, and welcome. I'm JoeSmish, and today we're going to see a video that is very, very special to me, and the time and moments I'll never forget. Interviewing my favorite musician, Thum. For those of you who don't know, Thum is a professional beatboxer and musician from Queensland, Australia. Some of his known works is his presentation given at the Sydney Opera House for TEDx called The Orchestra in My Mouth that has over 70 million views on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out because that really inspired me to become a beatboxer myself. Also, his recent works with Queensland Symphony Orchestra and his collaboration with composer Gordon Hamilton, revolutionizing the realm of music with his beatboxing. Let's get right into it.
I don't want that. I've lost you.
Okay,
Here we go.
so first of all, who or what inspired to beatbox?
Man, that's a good question. I started beatboxing, just with like a group of Islander blokes that I used to break dance with. They were just like the most musical guys, and we'd just all be b-boying, and some of them would be beatboxing, and it just blew my mind. But I remember the first time I ever heard beatboxing was my friend that I was breakdancing with. I'd just learnt how to do this maneuver called windmills. And I was like, yo man, I'll show you my windmills. And we pulled out like an old fridge box that we found at the park and like put it down on the grass so I could show him this move. And he was like, yeah man, I'll do a beatbox for you. And did like some fully old school like Fat Boy stuff like and I was like, whoa! And yeah, just from there I was like, that's what the name is. Because I'd just been making noises like my entire life, just like drawing. I'd be drawing and making the sounds of the things that I was drawing, like space stations and everything like that. And then, I finally had a name for this weird kind of condition I had. And so from there, I just practiced and practiced. And then I found out about Rahzel and everything like that. And when people first told me about Rahzel, I thought he was just a bloke from like town that lived in the city or something, like in my hometown. Everyone's like, yo man, you should hear Rahzel. So I just assumed that they were talking about another guy that was like a breakdancer that trained in the same spot. And then I found out about his album, and then it blew my mind. And that like set the template for, beatboxing being a forefront thing rather than a background thing, you know what I mean? Like he was well and truly like a soloist. So that was my first kind of like foundations, but then like the big level up when I heard that. And then after that, like Killer Keller and seeing dudes do live performances at Battle of the Year, and man, so many people.
So so how did you build up your sounds? Because you have your own signature sounds, right?
Man, to be honest, like when the internet was really like a big part of the evolution of beatboxing, I was staying quite insular. Like I was keeping to myself quite a bit, and I think that really helped to develop my own style because I was just working off myself. It was probably quite detrimental to my development in the bigger picture, but in terms of like tiny little noises that I came up with that were well and truly my own, that really helped, man. I was just like, I would find one sound and then try and figure out new ways to do it. So I'd like have a, and then I'd go, oh, I wonder what that would sound backwards. And just like go from there.
Second question, what is your musical background? Do you have perfect pitch, relative pitch? Do you self-taught how to write music and produce?
So my musical background is very sketchy. I didn't study music, or even leaving high school, I had no plans to get into music. I liked music, but it was mainly just like hip hop and rap, just because I was a graffiti writer and a b-boy, and I was like, oh man, that just comes with, like, it's part of the parcel. Yeah, so I didn't really have any formal training. I've never had a voice lesson, or never had any. I mean, I had piano lessons when I was a kid, but I didn't really enjoy it. I just wanted to be like knee deep in a creek or setting something on fire. So it was like, it was very much like after school that I was like, oh, cool. Oh, wow. You know, like listening to hip hop samples and then exploring the roots of that sample, like the original music that it was sampled from, and then going, man, there's like a whole world of sonic enjoyment I've been missing out on. So that was kind of like my education, was like an education through reverse engineering hip-hop music. So that got me into jazz and soul and blues and funk and everything like that. What was the other question you had? Oh, perfect pitch and relative pitch.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have perfect pitch. I'm like almost perfectly 12 cents below the pitch every time. So like, it's so weird, man. Like anything I'll sing, any note will be almost 12 cent, like microcents below being bang on the pitch. It's so weird. I don't know what, like my head's tuned to something strange, some medieval tuning.
You mean like 12 hertz?
No, so I believe that you've got semitones and tones, and then cents are like what is broken down even further. It's like micro. I think there's like 50 cents in between each note.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just like micro tuning. But relative pitch, I can tell if something's in tune.
Yeah.
Like almost obsessively tell if something's in tune. Which sucks because I can't sing in tune. So when I try and like do something, if something isn't sitting right, it will just like frustrate the hell out of me. It's a gift and a curse. Being able to tell what's in tune, but not being able to sing it in tune.
Yeah, so I'm currently studying music, and I'm trying to do what you're doing. How's that working out for you? Like working with the orchestra?
Really good, man. At first, it was super daunting, just because prior to that, like the largest ensembles I'd work with was maybe 4 or 5 people, and then you're going into a situation where you're in charge of keeping 65 people in time, and you've never had that kind of pressure before. You know, I'm not a human metronome. My beats like flow and ebb and slow down. Like, you know, when you're a solo beatboxer, it's not super integral. I mean, it is integral, but no one's going to notice that much or care that much if you like swing. Whereas with an orchestra, it has to be super rigid. And also the language of orchestras, like all the phrases, and I just don't know any music theory or anything like written, anything at all. So going into there was the most like baptism by fire I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm slowly starting to figure it out, but I learn everything by ear. So my notation that I write for orchestra stuff looks so different to the orchestral notation.
Yeah. So Gordon Hamilton, that's your partner with
conductor composer. Yes,
conductor composer. So does he help you with like turn your beats into musical notes?
No, he notates all my stuff for orchestra, so they know what I'm doing.
Okay.
But we just figured it out. It's just easier if I do it, kind of like myself, and just kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been super helpful in teaching me about different meters and like tempo modulation, metric. Like everything, man. Like it's really been like a super fast education. So yeah, it's been really good, man. He's been super helpful as well, like in terms of learning about melody and harmony and everything like that, like especially dissonant chords and stuff, like notes that shouldn't go together.
Yeah.
That before that my ear wasn't in tune to it, so I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh yeah, put those two next to each other, like make it crunchy.
Yeah.
So now that really excites me.
Yeah, contemporary music has some kind of that, you know, mixed. Yeah, mixed keys, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like what I'm playing on my piano, I'm currently playing Bartók, and it's crazy. I think he's a crazy composer because it doesn't make sense to me, but when you play it, it kind of makes sense because it's supposed to be weird. You know?
Yeah, we write a lot of strange stuff, man. Like with the orchestra, I think like there's only maybe 2 or 3 videos of everything we've done online, but the kind of like weird shit we're coming up with is really exciting for me because it's been in a realm where I've never experimented before. Like you don't get in a room with a bunch of beatboxers and go like, oh, let's do something atmospheric with like dissonant chords, and maybe it will, but at the moment it's quite uncommon. So for me to sit in the room with Gordon and him like, oh, try this harmony, and at first I'm like, what? But then I love it.
So you recommend me to study music and incorporate my beatboxing skills with other musicians?
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Like, I don't know why other beatboxers don't do it as much. Like, from what I feel, it's not as common as it should be. Like, essentially, all you're doing is mastering your instrument.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to master your instrument than play with other people so you can fit into ensembles. Like, it baffles me why, like, battling is super important for exposure and to get your, like, stage experience. But if you want to do music professionally, then it's so important to learn to blend and be part of ensembles and open that. So I think, yeah, absolutely you should incorporate like classical training or music training with your beatboxing. Like look at someone like Gene Shinozaki.
Yeah.
He's like, you can tell that guy has studied music. His compositions are beautiful, like his timing and textures and choice of notes. It's killer, man.
I gotta look into it.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of being a full-time musician?
Career instability. That's definitely one. I mean, I guess if you join an orchestra, you get a wage.
Yeah.
You're there. It's in a union. But if you're independent and self-employed musician, man, it's like living gig to gig. Some years you'll be like, whoa, make it rain. And other years you're like, oh, fuck, I wish it had rained. So, sometimes there's bountiful harvests, sometimes there's droughts. I'd say that's like one of the most unstable things. Like my future, I'm always like on shaky ground, like going like, okay, that seems to have worked. What's this other thing that I can try? Or like, maybe I can do this, or maybe a project with this person will bear fruit.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I think now that I'm getting older and I've bought a house and I've got a mortgage, and at some point in the future I'll probably want to have kids as well. Like it's like, I have to be a bit more measured about my decisions in terms of what I do for love and what I also do for love but could make money. And sometimes it doesn't quite equate. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a video with 400 beatboxers. That'd be a really good idea. And then you spend 3 weeks, 16-hour days editing it and go, well, this is just what I'm doing because it's going to be fun and I'm not going to earn any money out of it. But we'll see.
By the way, the thing that he mentioned here So it became a video that was published on his YouTube channel called Crowdsauce, and I was featured in his video, and I was one out of 103 people who participated in the video from all around the world. And in this video, I sent him a video of me playing the Universal Studios theme. Here we go.
I've got a nice little like close up of your plaque
Yeah.
that you like dropped in the
Yeah.
I'll send you a quick clip of what I've done later. I slowed the tempo down a little bit because I went to 120 BPM section.
Yeah.
And it sounds super dope. And I put vinyl warps on the chords underneath, so it sounds like really like Stranger Thingsy kind of synth.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the final product that he did it for me. It's called Crowdsauce. You sent me your videos, I turned it to a song. And it's on his YouTube channel. So might as well check him out. So here's the final product.
It's incredible how some people can turn so little into something so huge. So I think modern music is always obviously laying groundwork for future genres, and there's some really exciting stuff on the fringes as well, like things that might not be pop now, but in 10 years, 20 years, people might look back at it and go, oh, that's dope. You know, like hip-hop, for example, took jazz and blues and reimagined it into new genres. So modern music is always going to be just like laying concrete slabs for people to build on.
Yeah, like Billie Eilish, I think she makes like a melodyless music, kind of, and that's kind of a trend on popular music. I don't mind it, but you know, I guess time after time, music changes. Yeah, of course, man. And like exactly, like things that aren't sounding good now, or to someone's ear, might be just the standard in 10 years. You know, like when people started adding harmony to things, people were shocked. Like, or like, you know, who's that Russian composer that did? I'm trying to think of the guy. I've like love his stuff.
Hi, me from the future here. So, Thum wanted to mention this Russian composer named Igor Stravinsky, and he specifically recommended me to listen to The Rite of Springs. It's up on YouTube, so you guys go ahead and check it out. Let's get right back into the video.
I like love his stuff. Not other part. Anyways, like people will invent techniques now that will be shocking and weird, but will just be standard in the future. Same as beatboxing, man. Like you look at the stuff people doing 10 years ago that was blowing people's minds, and that's just like standard repertoire now.
I feel like if you don't perfect the sound, you're not really beatboxing. You're boots and cats in, and
yeah, exactly, man. Ball Z said that as well.
Yeah.
Like, his sounds are so clean and so crisp.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, man, how do you get it so, like, sharp and defined? He's like, it's practice, man. Like, I'd literally do it over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I just thought that his, like, mouth might have had a good EQ. But it's just repetition, just getting it super crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll be in LA later in the year as well.
Really?
So I'll be, potentially.
Potentially.
Don't know whether it's going to happen yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
Pending visas. Cool, bro.
You know, you have times when you like, you thought you perfected that beat, but you forgot to record it.
Yeah. I know that well. You. Dope.
Is there?
Nice one, bro. Man, that's how people build. That's
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fresh, bro. Absolutely. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, nice one, bro. Yeah, word.
So yeah, I'll keep in contact with you. You know.
What up, bro?
Yeah. Peace.
Cool, man. Peace, brother. Take it easy.
Bye.
Wait.
Hi, so if you made it all the way through this video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, I think Thum explained his life and career very thoroughly overall. Leave a comment, leave a like. I'm sorry if I couldn't construct my sentences properly because I was sick and ill, and I was very excited of him at the same time. So see you in the flip side. Bye.